Welcome to the Driving Your Marketing Podcast, where small business entrepreneurs come to discover the strategies, systems, and tools to kick their marketing into high gear. If you want to go from surviving small business owner to thriving entrepreneur, you're in the right place. Let's get ready to roll. All right, today on our Driving Your Marketing interview, I want to welcome our very first guest since we are just launching this podcast. I was very excited to have the opportunity to get a chance to talk to Shel Horowitz. He is the author of Guerrilla Marketing Goes Green. How are you doing today, Shel?
Just great, Eli. How about you?
I'm doing awesome. I'm very excited about this and the fact that we connected just at the perfect time because we are just launching the Driving Your Marketing podcast, the new system. We've had it in the past. We kind of put a back burner on it. We're revamping the entire thing. And then just about perfect timing, your name came across my screen, and I said, okay, yeah, I got to meet this guy because anybody who's involved with the Guerrilla Marketing family is just awesome. I mean, it's been a big influence for my world. Jay has been a big influence for me, and we've got a ton. I mean, I've got probably at least half of the Guerrilla Marketing books sitting on my bookshelf right now. So with that alone, I was like, okay, I got to meet this guy, got to find out what he's about. And you and I had a great conversation the other day, and I was very excited to be able to bring you on board. So with that, tell us a little bit about where's your background?
I'm pretty much self-created. I came out of college in the 70s with a BA in communications and theater, which was the closest that my school offered to a journalism degree, and no real job prospects, and an economy that was almost as terrible as it is today. And I had to somehow figure out how to make a living. I couldn't find a job in journalism, which is what I figured I would do. So eventually I started a little business to tide me over until my freelance writing career took off. And the interesting thing is the business took off and the writing career, well, I do some freelancing as part of all the other things I do, but it's really a very low percentage of my time is spent doing freelance articles. Mm-hmm. So it kind of morphed. I started it typing term papers and writing the occasional resume. And over time, first it was writing a whole lot of resumes. And then fortunately, just before Microsoft introduced the Microsoft Word resume template, which basically wiped out the resume industry, I was starting to move into writing B2B material and for a lot of authors and publishers as a copywriter, writing things like press releases and marketing plans and book covers and web pages and all that sort of stuff. And then that still is something I'm very much doing, but more and more of my clients were asking me for kind of a deeper, more strategic approach to marketing than just simply writing a project for them. So now I'm really as much a marketing and publishing consultant as a copywriter. And I've also had a long-standing passion back to the 1970s about the environment and making the world better. And I'm thrilled that the world has kind of caught up to me now and seeing that as important. I was pretty far ahead of the curve for a while, and I've been waiting for people to come along and say, yeah, we've got a planet that we need to save here, and the rest of it won't matter much if we don't. And so the last dozen years or so, I've really been braiding together these two strands of my life, the marketer and business entrepreneur, along with the environmentalist and social change agent. And it's been very exciting. And the book that I did with Jay was called Guerrilla Marketing Goes Green. And it's specifically about the whole green world, reaching the green consumer, reaching the non-green consumer with a green product or service offering. It's really exciting. And it's so nice that, I did a self-published book in 2003 called Principal Profit that covered some of the same territory. And the difference between 2003 and 2010 when Guerrilla Marketing Goes Green came out was unbelievable, how much more consciousness there was about sustainability, about climate change, about all of it. It's really made a quantum leap. I like to think I had at least a little bit to do with that. Probably Al Gore had a lot more.
Well, and one of the things that's really cool is that I was looking at some of the, because this is not the only book that you put out. You got, was it 7 other books?
Yes.
And I noticed they were about, grassroots marketing and the basics. So one of the questions that I've got for you is, when you talk about green marketing, where is that different than ordinary marketing? Because a lot of people don't really don't think about the concept of green marketing. They think of green companies, per se.
Mm-hmm. Well, green companies that want to succeed have to be marketing green. One of the examples I love to talk about is a household paper product company called Markel. Now, Markel went green ridiculously early. In fact, I'll let you guess, Eli, what year did Markel switch to recycled paper? I've already told you it's early.
95?
Try 1950.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, but the thing is they didn't tell anybody. And I can understand why in the 50s you wouldn't tell anybody, because like, oh, you're making toilet paper out of my junk mail? But by say 1972, maybe 73, there would be a market there that would really respond to that. Like, right. Oh, wow, you mean we can have a low-priced, high-quality paper product that isn't cutting down trees? That's really exciting and cool. They didn't tell anybody about it until really the early 2000s or the late 90s. And so they missed out on a huge marketing opportunity because they were doing the right thing, but nobody knew. So instead, I'm a believer in strutting your stuff and telling people, oh, this is what we're doing to be green. And this is the key, I think, is when you can show people that going green gives you the same high quality and the same kind of price point and the same advantages of doing things the old way. Well, if they have a choice between something that's going to make the planet better and something that doesn't, all other things going equal, the majority of people will go for the one that actually shows some improvement in the world. So by really highlighting the green principles, and sometimes you have to work a while to sort out what's what, because people make conflicting claims, and some people claim to be green when they're not, and so you have to do some homework to figure out really what's happening. But in general, if you can say to somebody, you can have my recycled paper product, it's just as good and just as cheap, or we have saved 40% of the energy involved in making this plastic doohickey, and as a result of that, there will be less carbon emitted into the atmosphere and your kids won't get asthma. You have to do that last piece. You have to, the sort of vague, fuzzy green benefit has to be translated into a concrete, real world, this is something that means something to my customer kind of benefit.
Right. Whether that's a basic marketing principle of show the benefits.
Right.
That's really all it is.
But a lot of people in the green world don't realize that they're not showing the benefit by saying we're green. People don't see the benefit in that. Living longer, having a healthier life, having better quality food, getting off foreign oil, those are benefits people can relate to in a much more concrete way than we're a green company. It's like, if you look at computer ads to completely jump industries, a lot of them are all about the features and not the benefits. They say we have this kind of processor. They don't say this kind of processor means that you can have 12 different programs at once without crashing.
Mm. Which would be a very good selling point, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually something that Mac OS has been using for about 10 years when they went to a Unix model. Right. And that is great. I mean, I've been a Mac user for a long time. It used to be when one program crashed, it took down the whole system. Now when one program crashes, you have to start that program again.
Right. Well, don't get me started on a PC right now. No.
But the other piece of green marketing, Eli, is I think that the green market is considerably more sensitive to the disadvantages of old-style hard sell push marketing. If you get out in front of people and say, buy me, this is great, they're going to just buy. They're going to BYE you instead of BUY. And so having an approach really that incorporates the best of people's thinking and feeling, the emotion and the intellect, I think is a good success strategy for any business, but it's particularly true in the green sector because they will not tolerate the old-style BS.
Right. Well, and, kind of thinking about that, the one thing I love about this is that right now green is the buzzword. People are jumping on board the green world because of it's the hot thing to do. The great thing about it is finally there's something that you can jump on purely because of the fact that you want to jump on the hot thing, but it ends up having a better purpose other than I'm doing this because it's what's cool.
Yeah, and I think because of that, it's not going to be flavor of the month. It's going to last. And in fact, I think that companies that have not yet gone green really need to get on the stick because in, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, they won't have a business if they're not green.
Right. Well, and Todd, let's talk about the guerrilla marketing concept because you wrote the book with Jay. I see that the foreword was by Stephen Covey, which is awesome. Another yeah, that is awesome as well. Let's talk about what is guerrilla marketing compared to green guerrilla marketing. What does that really translate to?
Guerrilla marketing, as I understand it, is really the idea of being quick and nimble, being able to seize advantages and opportunities before the big, slow dinosaurs even notice. And I think that that's totally applicable to green guerrilla marketing. I think, as an example, there's a organization here of farmers in my area called CISA, Communities Involved in Sustaining Agriculture, I think it stands for. And they started quite a while ago, maybe, 15 years ago, with a campaign around buying local foods. And in fact, they own the domain, I think it's buylocalfood or foods.com or .org, I forget which. Mm-hmm. They went and grabbed that domain in the early days of the internet. That was something that by the time some big company might have thought, well, this is a good domain to have, it was gone because these people moved in and went, and
nice.
So that was a guerrilla strategy. And then they went and built on that, and they really have had this more than a decade-long campaign to change the discourse, to change the way people think about food locally. And as a result of their efforts, first of all, there used to be like 2 farmers markets in this area. Now there are probably 20. But also, I went shopping at the farmers market on Saturday, and here I am paying $7 for a little bag of kale because it's organic and local and fresh. So for their constituency members, the farmers are able to sell more product at a higher price and sell direct to consumer because of the work that this organization has done to carve out territory in people's minds. They're not just saying buy vegetables. They're saying buy these local organic vegetables because they're not only really good for you and taste amazing,